Hello and welcome to another episode of the Unlearn Good News Report, where a little bit of good news can go a long way. If you have any stories or videos that you want featured on the show, send your submissions to info@unlearn.com. Let's get into it. For our first story of the day, we go to Maddy Park in New York City. Maddy wanted to help Asian Americans feel safe, especially after the recent increase of Asian hate crimes. She decided to raise $100,000 to help Asian Americans pay for their Ubers and Lyfts as fear for public transportation started to increase. Here's the full story.
Madeline Park shares her passion for cooking on social media, which she calls Cafe Maddy. Mixed in her cooking tutorials is a video addressing the rise in anti-Asian hate crimes.
Thank you for praying against hate.
It was recent reports of hate which led to her own concerns while commuting to her job as a dentist.
I took the train and I didn't realize that I would feel so terrified the whole ride.
She didn't want the cost of a cab to hinder people from taking one, so with the help of friends, she cooked up Cafe Maddy Cab.
We started a fund to pay for cab rides for Asian elderly, Asian women, and Asian members of the LGBTQ community so that they feel safe enough to take cab rides instead of taking the train.
The effort started with her own donation of $2,000 to those who answered her call to action on Instagram. She was blown away by the response. In just 2 days, getting $100,000 in donations.
It was really good to see that everybody was standing in solidarity with us and supporting us, because in a lot of news articles and videos we're seeing people turning a blind eye.
The way it works is those who take a cab for safety submit a form noting the reason along with a picture of the receipt, which is reviewed. After getting so many requests, Park took time off work and put her cooking on hold. More than 1,100 requests have been completed, which she says couldn't have been done without donations.
I think it's a huge message of hope. I hope this program or initiative becomes unnecessary as soon as possible.
She says she hopes this sparks a greater conversation with the city on how to find ways to help people who ride the subway feel more safe. In downtown Brooklyn, Jenna DeAngelis, CBS 2 News.
Our mission statement at Unlearn is to see the humanity in everyone, and Maddy has gone above and beyond that. Maddy is able to afford these services on her own. However, she thought beyond herself and her own needs and decided to help out as many people as she possibly could. Maddy, you're an inspiration to us all. Keep up the incredible work. I'll leave her Instagram tag in the description down below. Make sure you check it out and show her your support. For our next story, we come back to Ontario, where one small act of kindness from 9-year-old Fatima Syed and her father Tariq has resulted in a province-wide volunteer campaign. Here's how it all started.
This morning, the urgent race to stop the global
province's chief
spread
medical officer is investigating a case that may be linked to the new coronavirus.
We've seen COVID-19 spread around the globe. Here in Canada,
There's a run on
93
supplies.
cases.
I want to tell you a story about the beginning of the pandemic. No, this isn't a story about my school closing or not being able to play with my friends. This is a story about good neighbors. Winter was about to end and my dad had just returned from a work trip. He mentioned a new virus that was spreading quickly all over the world. He said to stop it, we had to go into a lockdown. And then everything started changing. I wasn't even allowed to see my grandparents. At first, I didn't get it. But then I went grocery shopping with my dad. When we pulled into the parking lot, there was a huge line outside the store. And when we got inside, people were rushing around and emptying shelves. Most of the items in the store were already gone. Seeing all of that was pretty scary. And then I noticed a lot of chaos at the checkout lines. And I saw older people struggling to keep up with the other shoppers. I felt sad that they had to stand in lines and wait for so long. It didn't seem fair. If they were like my grandparents, they were vulnerable and needed our help. I asked my dad if he could carry some seniors' groceries, or even just help them load their bags. We helped someone in the parking lot, and they were very thankful. I went home, but the images of them stayed in my mind. It made me very sad to think about what the seniors in our community had to go through. I told my parents, and they said we could ask the seniors on our street if they needed help. So we started lending a hand to some of our neighbors. Then my dad posted on Facebook explaining how we were helping seniors on our street. And when his friends heard, they started helping their neighbors. And it continued. Quickly, people from different communities and different neighborhoods all around Ontario began volunteering. My dad told me there are over 6,000 volunteers now, and we have completed over 5,000 grocery deliveries. Some volunteers have actually delivered groceries over 200 times, and that's a lot of times. The Good Neighbor Project wouldn't be where it is now if it wasn't for all the neighbors like you. Neighbors who have dedicated their efforts to keep seniors and other vulnerable people safe. We've proven that even in times of lockdown and when we're pulled apart, we can come together to support each other. Because that's what good neighbors do.
Wow, at 9 years old, Fatima was able to notice this problem, create a connection to it, and pursue a solution, all relating to helping those who arguably needed it the most. There's a link to the Good Neighbor Project in the description down below. Make sure you check it out. And Fatima, you're making kindness cool again. Keep up the incredible work. For our last story, let's go to Iowa City, where Dasia Taylor is making waves in the national and international science arenas. Dasia has been working on a solution for low-income individuals who are likely to have post-surgery complications involving their sutures or stitches. Here's more information about the project.
Hi STS family, my name is Dasia Taylor. I am the finalist from Iowa. And my project is a novel suture additive, the use of beet extract to assess for surgical wound infection. Well, for my project, I created sutures that are dyed in beet juice that change color when the infection is present. So this happens because beets period are a natural indicator, and they change at the pivotal moment of 8 and 9. Well, our skin is naturally acidic, having a pH of 5, so when our wounds are infected, they climb to a pH of 9. Now, because beets change at that pivotal moment, there's a color change that is visible between the pH of 5 and 9. So that is my project, and it was based on the entire disproportionality of citizens who die in developing countries from surgical site infections that are detectable. So with my sutures, those surgical site infections would be able to be detected quicker, thus lowering the amount of people who die from surgical site infections in developing countries. So now that we have my project information out of the way, I think a fun fact about me is that I like these head wraps here. I love head wraps. I absolutely love them. I have an entire collection, and I really love to show off my style and like express myself through my head wraps. So, thanks. Peace.
Dasia is one of the 40 finalists in the Regenerate Science Talent Search, and she's guaranteed $25,000 of funding and going for the top prize of $250,000. Dasia has even been encouraging kids in her hometown to get involved in science, and has hosted Zooms teaming up with her local public library to have discussions with elementary students. Make sure you show her your support and check out her Instagram page. There's a link in the description down below. Good luck, Dasia. The world is changing one step at a time, and people like you are changing it for the better. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the stories and the videos that were shared, make sure you leave a like, comment, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. We have exclusive interview content coming soon. Also, you can send your submissions to be featured on this show to info@unlearn.com. This is Mohammed Najarali from the Unlearn Good News Report signing off. Create a great day, everyone.